Tonight, we report on possible changes for how Moses Lake charges for water use, and more checks stolen from a car dealership gets cashed. What's happening in sports, Bob?
The Running Vikes remain unbeaten in East Region Conference play with a win over Wenatchee last night, but the Lady Vikings didn't fare so well. Here's a quick glance at our Weather Center forecast.
I'm meteorologist Mike Sines. We have a winter storm watch in effect for our viewing area. How will this impact our weekend? I'll let you know coming up.
I'm Amber Jenks, and we have all this and much more on iFIBER 1 News.
From the iFIBER 1 HD studio here in the heart of the Columbia Basin, this is iFIBER 1 News. Your #1 source for local news, sports headlines, and our very own Weather Center forecast covering the entire Columbia Basin. This is iFIBER 1 News, and it starts now.
Moses Lake may change how it charges for water to increase the incentive for conservation. Council member David Colonel suggested changing the water rate during a discussion about setting a goal of the city using 2% less water each year. Public Works Superintendent Mike Morrow said the city decreases the amount of water it uses each year through new hardware. The council member suggested the present system benefits people using more water. The city charges a flat rate for the first 500 cubic feet of water. For additional water, residents is charged 84 cents for every 100 cubic feet of water. City Manager John Williams said the city's water rates are unusual since they benefit people using more water. The Warden School District is looking to renew its maintenance and operations levy. Voters will decide the fate of the levy on February 9th. Reporter Devin Higgins has the details.
The Warden School District is asking voters to renew their 2-year maintenance and operations levy. The levy would provide about $2.85 million to the district for 2017 and 2018 to fund educational, training, and maintenance programs. The district intends to use the money for a wide range of areas, including facility repair and maintenance, funding for field trips, school music programs, technology and textbook upgrades, athletics, transportation, and funding faculty positions like librarians, nurses, and counselors. Due to its size, Warden qualifies for between $530,000 and $760,000 in state levy equalization funds. Combined, that makes up between 16 and 24% of the district's $11 million annual budget. The maintenance and operation levy must be approved by voters in order for the district to receive those matching state funds. Should the levy be approved, tax rates for Warden residents are estimated to be $3.35 per $1,000 of assessed property value. It's the lowest tax rate for the district since 2012, according to district documents. In Warden, Devin Higgins for iFIBER 1 News.
5 checks stolen during a Moses Lake car dealership burglary have been cashed or attempted to be cashed in the Portland and Vancouver, Washington areas. Moses Lake resident Chris Reynolds told iFIBER 1 News he reported to police that someone rewrote a check originally cashed at Bud Cleary in Moses Lake. The check was cashed again for $1,000 at a Bank of America in Portland. Moses Lake police were called for 2 more stolen checks being cashed, one in Tigard, Oregon by a woman claiming to be Catherine Moline, and the second check was cashed at an unknown bank. Earlier in January, 2 checks first cashed at Bud Cleary were cashed a second time in Vancouver, Washington. The names, dates, and amount on the checks have been washed off and changed. Bud Cleary dealerships were found burglarized on the morning of December 28th. Shop tools, multiple computers, credit card machines, and televisions were initially reported stolen. Reynolds said he received a letter in the mail from Bud Cleary notifying him of a serious data security incident at the dealership. The case remains under investigation. Moses Lake may allow manufactured homes in single-family residential areas. The city is in process of complying with a 2004 state law requiring cities to allow manufactured homes in the same areas as traditional stick-built homes. The state requires counties and cities to treat both types of housing the same. Community Development Director Gilbert Alvarado said Moses Lake allowed the homes in other residential zones, but prevented them from being constructed in single-family residential zones. A recent audit by the Washington City's Insurance Authority found the city wasn't complying with state law for 12 years. The manufactured homes need to meet the same requirements as stick-built homes. Now we take a look at people being sought by law enforcement.
This is Sheriff Tom Jones with the Grant County Sheriff's Office. Each of the people you see here have a warrant for their arrest. If you see any of these people, we ask you do not attempt to detain or apprehend them, but call us at 509-762-1160 or send us an email at crimetips@co.grant.wa.us. If the person is presenting a danger, call 911. With your help, we can bring these people to justice and make our community safer.
We'll be back right after this.
When the cold rolls in, it's time to turn on the heater and cozy up with a book. But turning up the heat can mean higher electric bills. And for some families in tough times, that could mean choosing between a warm meal or a warm house. For decades, people like you have extended a hand to help local families in need pay those winter electric bills. Share the warmth this winter to help keep your neighbor warm by giving a little when you pay your Grant PUD bill.
This weather segment brought to you by Barry Motors. I'm meteorologist Mike Sines with a look at your weather headlines as we start off this evening. Rain and snow is going to continue to move in very lightly tonight. It'll taper off, and then we are going to see another system make its way in here for tomorrow, bringing with it some weather alerts. Now, let's take a look at our almanac as we can see. For us here in Ephrata, reached a low of 37, trace of precip, and the sunset for us nicely at 4:53. As we take a look right now, winds lightly blowing, well, somewhat lightly, from the west-southwest at 12 miles per hour. Mostly cloudy skies, 42 degrees out there right now. Now, as we take a look, this is the cloud cover that's moving in as well with some very light snow and rain that'll continue into tonight. The system that'll really make its way in here is going to be just west of us, and this is a storm system that's going to be impacting us all throughout the day tomorrow, Friday. Let's track it for you, folks. Again, light snow going to be continuing, and then we will see that taper off. Moisture, though, is going to continue to increase from the west as it does so. You can see here areas of snow, especially in towards the Yakima area, all along the Cascades as well. Here we are going to see snow as well, and that's why I'm calling for a 90% chance to see snow tomorrow. As we take a look, though, this also is bringing up some alerts. As you can see here, we do have two alerts on the screen. The first one to talk about is a winter storm watch that is in effect until Saturday 9 a.m. and then there is a winter storm advisory until Friday at 10. These two here, this one here is a watch because of the fact that we are going to have so much snow forecasted to accumulate. Driving conditions are going to be decreasing as we head into Friday night along the Cascades. We are going to continue to have wind blowing and also just the accumulation of snow. Taking a look here, as we can see these snow accumulation totals, they're going to rise and they're going to be anywhere from about, or this model in-house here is saying about 8 inches. I'm going to say roughly about a foot. 5 down towards Yakima, and then 1 for us here in Ephrata. So we won't do that much snuffling, but we are going to still see those conditions decrease just a bit. For taking a look at my forecast, temperatures in the 40s. Rain showers are going to continue as well for us here. Temperatures in the 40s. Rain showers throughout the day for us here. And as we take a look at my extended outlook, calling for tomorrow, 90% chance to see a wintry mix. Then conditions improve just in time for the weekend. Saturday, Sunday, we go into a little bit of a dry spell, supposedly, where we are going to see partly cloudy skies, mostly cloudy skies. Next system returns by latter part of next week with 40% chance. Thanks so much for watching, folks. Stay tuned. Sports next.
To save some energy, I've used Einstein's mass energy equivalents to design the haptic suits you see in front of you. They will maintain our core body temperature while we completely turn off our heat and air conditioning. With the money we save on our Grant PUD bill, I'll be expecting that trip to Disneyland this year.
You don't need to be a super genius to save energy and money. Visit grantpud.org to learn how.
The new flamethrower cheeseburger now with a $5 lunch. I'm going flamethrower today.
Remember what happened last time?
I'm going flamethrower today.
Gary, do you remember what happened last time?
I'm going flamethrower today.
Remember what happened last time?
Comes with a Sunday now. I can handle it.
You know your body, Gary.
Go flamethrower. Now the DQ $5 lunch comes with the new jalapeno bacon flamethrower cheeseburger, plus fries, drink, and a sundae. This is fan food, not fast food.
Big Bend basketball split home games with Wenatchee on the hardwood last night. The Running Vikes blew past Wenatchee 101-74 at the DeVries Activity Center last night. Big Bend scored the opening bucket. The Knights answered back with a basket by Dylan Boyd. The Running Vikes responded with a 12-3 run and never looked back. J.J. Eli was on the mark for the second game in a row, hitting for 15 first-half points. Riker Pierce knocked down 11, and the Running Vikes led 50-34 at the break. Mogalado drained 13 second-half points. A.J. Miles added 9 off the bench, and Big Bend cruised to the lopsided win. Keyshawn Liggins' jam late electrified the crowd and put a stamp on the statement win. Eli led the Running Vikes with 20 points. Lado knocked down 19. Pierce added 14. Miles had 12, and Liggins finished with 10. The Knights' Brian Michaels led all scorers with 32 points. The win moves Big Bend to 6-0 in the East Region Conference standings and into a tie with Spokane for the top spot. The Lady Vikings were looking to deal Wenatchee its first league loss of the season, but the Knights had another thing in mind. The Lady Vikings were looking to snap a 4-game skid, but came out flat against the Knights in the first game of the evening and dropped the contest 64-42. Both teams struggled to put points on the board in a low-scoring first quarter that had Wenatchee up 9-4. The Knights heated up with 23 second-quarter points to take a 31-17 score into the locker room at the half. Lauren Johnson led the Wenatchee charge with 9 points. Rebecca Stevens had 8. The Knights blew the game wide open with a 16-1 run to start second-half play, and the rout was on. Big Bend hit just 36% of its shots from the field and free throw line and was awful from three-point range, hitting just 2 of 24 shots. The Lady Vikings did not have a player in double figures in the game. The team got 7 each from Max Shelley and Mariah Tipping. The Knights' Drew Carlos led all scorers with 14 points. Shayla Johnson added 11. Big Bend falls to 1-5 in the East Region Conference standings and is just 1 game up on bottom dweller Yakima. Big Bend hits the road Saturday to Spokane to match up with the Sasquatch. Well, check out this steal and pass off the glass from J.R. Smith to a trailing LeBron James, who jams home the bucket for the Cleveland Cavaliers in the game with the Suns last night. It's CNN's Play of the Day.
This dribble, instead it's Goodwin. Almost one, stolen by J.R. Smith, down the floor. LeBron James off the board by J.R. as he caught him in his rearview mirror.
It all depends on the defense. The defense gets the turnover. The Cavs use defense as an offensive weapon.
J.R. knew that a throwdown from the King would get the crowd going. Cavaliers by 12. Love that unselfish play. There's Warren sailing. Threw up a brick. Cavaliers with it. Remember Warren against the Cavaliers last time. Had a heck of a ball game against them. 23 points. Kevin Love wide open.
We'll be back after this commercial break.
You don't have to drive to Seattle for exceptional cancer care. Confluence Health's cancer program delivers world-class care close to home. We have a highly experienced oncology team in a state-of-the-art facility, and we're a member of the Seattle Cancer Care Alliance, which gives our patients access to world-renowned therapies developed at Fred Hutchinson, the University of Washington Medicine, and Seattle Children's. Together with the SCCA, we're delivering world-class cancer care close to home.
Well, one thing I knew from being a patient myself was that a dental office is a scary place to come to. And so we wanted everything possible to make sure that our office is a comfortable place for our patients to visit. The patients that I have, my clients, have made me a part of this community, and we want to give back in every way possible.
Our spotlight story tonight is about a Moses Lake boy with a rare chromosome disorder and his wish for Valentine's Day. Reporter Joe Utter has the story.
It's a simple Valentine's Day request from a boy with a not-so-simple life. Meet Eli Pierce. Some may know him as Super Eli from a Facebook page created by his mom, Audra, which has more than 3,000 likes and shows the difficult journey of the first 3 years of Eli's life. Eli was born with a rare chromosome disorder, a disorder that's still undiagnosed by his doctors and has caused brain and heart defects, epilepsy, developmental delays, and muscle weakness from his stomach down. His mom said he's also autistic and doesn't speak.
Well, every now and then he'll have a seizure because he is epileptic, so he tends to have seizures. When that happens, usually that ends up destroying his whole day. He's not himself, he will not run around, he'll just want to be held and comforted in our arms.
Despite the number of challenges he faces every day, Eli's smile remains bright, and his positive attitude serves as an inspiration to Audra and his dad Brent, especially after losing their first child during birth.
Extremely so. Even with the struggles, he's a very, very happy kid. That's why I blog, to tell his story, so that people can, because as I like to explain, is that I'm one of those guilty adults. I used to let anything really little just get me down. I would not want to get out of bed. But with everything with him, everything he goes through, when we have to take him to Seattle Children's, he gets an EEG. He hates things on his head. He's usually upset for about an hour, and he's back to being happy and back to being himself, and he has this like thing on his head, but he's ignoring it and playing with his toys. He doesn't let anything get him down, and that's why I vlog. Is I've had people say, oh, you just want pity, oh, you just want someone to give you sympathy. It's not actually at all that. It's so that I can show people that no matter what you're going through every day, you can smile and be happy and just go on with your day. As the saying goes, if you see someone walking by, smile at them, because smiles are contagious, and that's exactly what my son does. He smiles, and next thing I know, I'm done. I'm all happy again.
Eli already had to have one life-saving heart surgery when he was less than a year old, and will likely need 2 more surgeries. Audra said doctors are hoping they can wait till Eli is 8 years old for the next surgery, which will likely be open heart surgery. Last year, Eli's mom started the Super Eli's Valentines for Congenital Heart Defect Awareness Month in February. Audra explains the idea of Super Eli's Valentines.
So yeah, we started the Valentines last year, and it turned out great. We ended up, I think, with 23 or more Valentines. And this year we're hoping to break the record of getting more. So far I've already gotten 13, and I have people still messaging me saying that they're sending. And it's not just so people can send him Valentines, we actually give out Valentines as well. Whoever sends to him, if they put a return address on the envelope, I will actually have my son pick out a Valentine.
People wanting to give a Valentine to Eli can send them to 4306 Robin Lane Northeast in Moses Lake. This is Joe Utter for iFIBER 1 News.
I was so happy.
We'll be right back after this.
We are real students, and this really is our college.
My dream will change the outcome of my life.
My college is allowing me to achieve my dream.
My dream is to be a pilot.
My dream is to be a nurse.
Only you can determine your dream. Big Bend will help you get there.
What's your dream?
experience speed like never before when you connect to Grant PUD's high-speed network. Visit grantpud.org to learn more.
Welcome back. An alleged drunk driver reportedly struck several vehicles in a hotel parking lot in Moses Lake. Luis Rodriguez Troche, a 21-year-old man, reportedly drove a 2008 BMW M5 into the parking lot at Best Western on West Marina Drive Tuesday night and struck a Ford Fusion, a Honda Accord, a Jeep, and a Ford Explorer. According to Moses Lake police responded and reportedly found Rodriguez Troche in his hotel room. He was issued tickets for DUI and hit and run and was released to his brother. No injuries were reported. A man was caught trying to burglarize a business 10 days after he was released from jail for his part in a string of burglaries. Kennedy Morales, a 25-year-old Quincy resident, pleaded guilty in Grant County Superior Court to attempted burglary in the second degree. Morales was caught attempting to burglarize the Habitat for Humanity store in Quincy on December 18th. The crime came 10 days after he pleaded guilty in 2 counts of burglary and 1 count of theft. As part of the December 8th plea agreement, Morales was sentenced to 46 days in jail under a first-time offender waiver and released the same day. For his recent conviction, he is sentenced to serve 13 months in prison. Surveillance video from the store showed Morales climb over a chain-link fence and walk around the buildings. The store's manager found damage to the store's rear door and a broken screwdriver in the morning. In Northwest news, 1 person was killed and several have been arrested in the standoff between FBI, Oregon State Police, and armed anti-government activists. Militia leader Ammon Bundy and several of his supporters were pulled over on the highway and arrested Tuesday night. They had been occupying the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge for 26 days, protesting what they describe as government overreach on federal lands. For CNN, Dan Simon report what happened and the reaction on both sides.
More than 3 weeks after armed militia took over a federal wildlife refuge in Oregon, a deadly shootout between militia members and the police.
Yesterday, the FBI, with our partners, took the first steps to bring this occupation to a conclusion.
Group leader Ammon Bundy and 7 others were arrested Tuesday night after the FBI and Oregon State Police pulled them over on their way to a meeting with community residents. Bundy's brother Ryan was shot and suffered minor wounds, but a spokesman for the armed occupiers, Lavoy Finicum, was killed.
It's time for everybody in this illegal occupation to move on. There doesn't have to be bloodshed in our community.
Bundy's father says his son called him from the back of a police cruiser moments after the shootout.
My son Ryan had been shot in the arm. Lavoy Finicum, they cold-blooded killed him. He said he was out, had his hands in the air, said he wasn't armed, he wasn't any threats, and they cold-blooded just killed him.
Authorities say Ryan Bundy and Finicum did not obey orders to surrender, and shots were fired. The armed group took over the refuge on January 2nd, in part to protest the sentencing of 2 ranchers and to make a stand against what they call government overreach when it comes to federal lands.
They continued to ignore us and pushed us to the point where we felt we had to make a stand to defend our rights.
Finicum previously told reporters he was willing to give his life for the cause.
There are things more important than your life, and freedom is one of them.
The sheriff says he'd been trying to work with the group to find a peaceful solution, but in the end, he just couldn't meet their ultimatums.
We don't arm up and rebel. We work through the appropriate channels. This can't happen anymore. This can't happen in America, and it can't happen in Harney County.
That's going to do it here for us at iFIBER 1 News. We want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow.